right? So then we can move to audit procedures. Basically for inventory we are focusing about mainly three assertions: existence, and then valuation, and then the completeness. Other assertions are important, but these are critical assertions. Existence, so then whether these inventory items are exist or not, that's really important, right? And then the completeness, so then whatever the relevant inventory item can't be deficit or excess, the exact amount should be there in the books. එතකොට අඩු වෙන්නත් බෑ වැඩි වෙන්නත් බෑ කියන එක තමයි completeness කියන්නේ. හරියට මෙදාට exit වෙනවද කියන තමයි, දාට තියෙනවද කියන එක තමයි existence කියන්නේ. And then valuation, whatever the quantity we have, we should have proper value should be taken to the books. That should be comply with the LKS 2. LKS 2 මොකද කියන්නේ? අපි ඉස්සරහ කතා කරනවා NRV and cost whichever is lower. NRV and cost whichever is lower, right? So we have to do in NRV testing as well. Normally inventory balance එක හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ quantity into value. Quantity into value, that's obvious. Inventory items ටික තියෙනවා, ඒකේ value එක තියෙනවා. ඒ inventory item into that value is the inventory price. මේ value එක වෙන්න පුළුවන් cost and NRV whichever is lower, right? Mostly we are using the cost. මොකද අපි ගන්න inventory එක ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට cost එක NRV එකට වඩා අඩුයි. මොකද අපි අපේ plan එක තියෙන inventory විදියට අරගෙන වැඩි price එකකට විකුණන්න, right? So that is the basic understanding you should have. As I mentioned, we may have material, work in progress or finished good, right? So then we can go forward. So then here I mentioned the inventory measurement basis as per case 2. We should calculate, we are having the cost, no need to calculate. That cost may be based on the FIFO, LIFO or weighted average cost according to case 2. That is the cost we incur to bringing these inventory items to their present location and to the present condition. So then that may be included taxes, transportation cost, all those things should be included to the cost, right? So the net realizable value is a kind of a estimate, right? Estimate actually, how we can do that calculation is whatever the inventory items we have, we need to estimate the futuristic probable kind of a possible selling price and whatever the related cost to change that item to that sellable condition. So then that should be the selling price in the ordinary course of business less estimated cost to complete the estimated completion and the estimated cost necessary to make the sale. That is called net realizable value. Normally, as I said, NRV higher than the cost. NRV higher than the cost, but some of the instance NRV එක cost එකට වඩා අඩු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට අපි NRV එක තමයි books වලට ගන්න වෙන්නේ. එතකොට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ NRV and cost whichever is lower. This should be N, not O, right? You should have to exactly know what is the meaning of that, right? So then if you are not comfortable with this N, so then I can explain that as well. So then it can't be O, right? So then if you are having kind of a inventory items, අපි cost or NRV, cost and NRV පොඩ්ඩක් clear කරගත්තොත්, let's say we are having inventory items. Inventory item A, B, C, right? Cost NRV. A cost 10, NRV 20, B 15, NRV 10, C cost 10, NRV 12, right? So then here we have the quantity. Here we have 100 item, here we have 200 item, again we have 100 item. So then here you are going to calculate the year end value, right? Year end or month end value. So then here what we are going to do, cost and NRV, whichever is lower. We can use the cost, right? Here we can use the NRV because the cost is higher than the NRV. Here we have to use the cost again. So then 10 multiplied 100, 1000, and then 2000, and then again 1000. So then 4000 is the year end or month end inventory value. This value included NRV and cost both. Why? Your balance included cost and NRV, both are included. By inventory item wise, you have to cross check and then get the NRV and cost whichever is lower. That's why we are telling that NRV and cost. Otherwise you can't say that NRV or cost. So that's the definition, that's the explanation for that. So then you have to be very sharp on definition in the accounting standard to do auditing, right? Right. So then you have that NRV understanding and the cost understanding, the standard guideline. You can go forward and you can study audit procedures then, right? So then here we have different set of inventory items. So then according to the industry, according to the business nature, your inventory may be different, right? So then here we have ice cream, firecrackers, feed meal, or fertilizer, or a liquor. So then different inventory items, right? So the inventory as a balance, here we have the note, this is the balance, right? You can go to the relevant note and this balance should be ensured by a auditor, right? So this is the note. This balance consists of raw material, work in progress, finished goods and machinery spare parts, right? So we have inventory provision as well. Why we are having inventory provision? Because some of the inventory item may be obsolete inventory or the kind of expired. So then very recently these items are getting expired. So then we are supposed to make a provision. Likewise, we may have based on the aging we are using, we can calculate inventory provision as well. Slow moving machinery spare parts, slow moving items can be considered for provisioning, right? So this is how you are going to disclose in the financial statement. Here we have a disclosure. None of the inventory items are pledged as a security. So then if you have pledged this inventory item for a bank loan, you have to mention that as well, right? Okay. And then once you are doing your audit procedures, we are coming back to audit procedures. Once you are doing audit procedures, with this understanding, process understanding and the accounting standard understanding, now you know about inventory balance particular to the company. එතකොට inventory balance එක හොඳ understanding එකක් තියෙනවා, standard එකේ requirement ගැන දන්නවා. දැන් අපි audit procedures මොනවද කරන්න කියන එක තමයි study කරන්න හදන්නේ. එතකොට ඔයාට audit approach එක කියන එක මාර important. So then whether you are going to do TOC plus substantive procedures or full substantive approach. Mostly what is the suggested mechanism? Suggested mechanism is you have to do TOC plus substantive approach, because during a period you may have different transaction and multiple transactions. You may have millions of transactions relating to inventory balance. Because of that, that is the practical approach is the reliant control approach. That depends on your walkthrough test results as well. So then once you are doing your TOC, you have to check related inventory related controls. As we discussed in the process level, those three-way matching and updating the bin card, updating the inventory system, having a proper inventory verification, inventory issuance in between material to WIP to finished goods. So that those controls should be tested. And then inventory issuance and security controls, whether we are having proper warehouses and CCTV monitoring system, do we have any security protocols, like some of the inventory items may be evaporated, right? So then we need to have proper mechanism. Some of the inventory items perishable items, right? එතකොට ඒවට අපිට refrigerators arrange කරන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට දැන් ඔයා ice cream store කරන විදියට නෙමෙයි hardware එකක items තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට garment එකක items තියෙන්නේ ඔයා meat manufacturing company එකක inventory store කරන විදියට නෙමෙයි. So then totally different. So then if that inventory item require kind of a security protocols, you have to establish that as well, right? And then management එකේ NRE testing එක කවුද කරන්නේ? කවුද approve කරන්නේ? කොහොමද NRE testing එක කරන්නේ? That's really important. And then standard costing. Standard costing related controls කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ? Standard costing formula එකේ prices කොහොමද arrange වෙන්නේ? Standard costing කොහොමද මේක impact වෙන්නේ? Standard costing කියන එක. So then if you are doing kind of audit for a buying and selling company, we may not have standard costing, because we know the direct cost, direct purchase cost. But if you are doing a manufacturing company, so then your raw material change to a finished goods, or at the year end it may be WIP. To evaluate this finished good and the WIP, you have to have a standard costing formula. Per one item, how much of material, what is the price? So then let's say this is a biscuit manufacturing company. Here we have a biscuit packet. Biscuit packet will be included, let's say 25 biscuits. For 25 biscuit, what is the cost? So then we may have different ingredients, right? So then it may be different ingredients. Sugar වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේද? එකට අපි දාන්න පුළුවන් flour වෙන්න පුළුවන්. And then තව දාන්න පුළුවන් මොන හරි color එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. chocolate වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Icing powder වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So then different ingredients. So then what we have to do? The price and the quantity. අපේ quantity එක වෙනස් වෙනවද ගොඩක්? නෑ. quantity එක ගොඩක් change වෙන්නේ නෑ. quantity එකට අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් මොනවද? recipe එක කියලා. price එක වෙනස් වෙන inflation එකත් එක්ක. එතකොට price එක වෙනස් වෙනකොට අපි standard costing එක adjust කරන්න ඕන. ඒකේ standard costing එක adjust කරන්නේ කවුද? ඒකට approval තියනවද? We need to evaluate that controls. අපිට සමහර විට ඔඩිටර් විදියට ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් කොස්ටින් ෆෝමියුලා එක දෙන්න කැමති නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඕගනයිසේෂන් එකක් නේද? ඇයි මොකද මේ බිස්කට් පැකට් එකේ අපේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් කොස්ටින් ෆෝමියුලා එකේ තියෙනවා මේ බිස්කට් හදන්න යූස් කරන මැටීරියල්ස් වල amount එකයි price එකයි. amount එක තියෙනවා නම් price එකක් තියෙනවා නම් amount එක ගත්තා නම් අපේ බිස්කට් හදන රෙසිපි එක ඔයා දැනගන්නවා. එතකොට ඒක අවුට් වෙනවා කියන්නේ කම්පැනියට ලොකු රිස්ක් එකක්. එතකොට ඔයා ඒක X කියන බිස්කට් එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්, Y කියන බිස්කට් එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්, එකම වර්ග වෙන්න පුළුවන්, රසවල් දෙකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So then having this recipe is a highly confidential information. එතකොට අපි ඒක මැනේජ්මන්ට් එක දෙන්න අකමැති නම් අපි alternative procedures කොහොමද plan කරන්න කියලා decide කරන්න ඕන. ඒක අපිට දෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ audit senior ට නම්, director කෙනෙක්ට නම්, partner කෙනෙක්ට නම්. ඒ process එක අපි study කරලා අපි ensure කරන්න ඕන හරියට process එක යනවා කියන එක. Right? Standard question is that. And then inventory verification. Inventory verification එකක් control එකක්. අපි එතකොට බලන්නේ මෙතන inventory verification එක කවුද participate කරන්නේ, කවුද එකට approve කරන්නේ, කොච්චර කාලෙකින් inventory verification එක කරන්නේ, ඒක තමයි අපි check කරන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ IT related controls. System එකක් use වෙනවද, inventory duplicate වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද system එකෙන්, කොහොමද inventory report එකක් ගන්නෙ, ඊට පස්සේ barcode use වෙනවද, inventory items වල purchase price එක වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන්ද, inventory items වල purchase date එක වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? හිතන්න අපිට system එකක් තියෙනවා, inventory item ගත්ත date එක manually ගිහිල්ලා adjust කරන්න පුළුවන්. manually ගිහිල්ලා adjust කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් inventory analysis එකේදී age analysis එක කරනකොට එන aging එක manipulate කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට control එකක් තියෙනවා, IT control එකක්. Inventory purchase days can't be edited. Inventory sequence order can't be edited. It's an automated, auto-generated number. So those type of control should be there in a inventory mechanism, inventory process. So then those controls can be tested under TOC, operating effectiveness, and then what you can do is that results can be added to reassess CRA. Reassess CRA, and then based on that you are deciding, you are doing substantive procedures. Substantive procedures වලවා physical verification of inventory. Inventory verification එක කරන්න ඕන sample basis. එතකොට මෙතන inventory verification එක එතන control එක බලන්නේ. control එක බලලා එතන අවුරුද්දට inventory verification 4ක් තියෙනවා. අපි year end එකේ inventory එක sample එකක් test කරනවා. මෙතන control එක අපිට satisfy නම් අපිට sample එක අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන් substantive procedures වල. ඊට පස්සේ reconciliation. What do you mean by reconciliation? Reconciliation mean your inventory physical count and whatever the inventory report you have used with the general ledger balance, you have to reconcile. So then the same that as I said previously, if you are doing a reconciliation, that both balances should be equal. If there are differences, we need to identify what are the exact difference. If there is a difference in the system, if you are not having this balance at the flow, there may be a reason. So then that can be identified through a reconciliation. Reconciliation තව එන්න පුළුවන් එකක් තමයි අපි stock verification එක කරන්නේ year end එකේමද නැත්නම් year end එකට කලින්ද පස්සේද කියන එක මත. ඔයාගේ year end එක ඔයාගේ year end එක ගත්තොත් 31st December, right? ඔයාගේ stock count එක හරියටම අපිට 31st December midnight එක වෙනකොටම කරන්න පුළුවන් බෑ. stock count එක ගොඩාක් ලොකු operation එකක්. අපිට continuous operation එක නවත්තලා stock count කරන්න බෑ. මොකද අපිට order එකක් තියෙනවා shipment එකක් තියෙනවා immediately අපි provide කරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙනම් අපි මොකද plan කරන්නේ? අපි weekends වල inventory count එක plan කරනවා. අපි December month එක December next Jan මාස දෙකේම අපි inventory count කරනවා. හැම month එකේම Saturday හැම week එකේම Saturday inventory count එක කරනවා. So then to get the inventory balance as at the reporting date, we are doing inventory count in different dates after the year end and the before the year end. So then what we have to do? So then here we have the one inventory item exact amount and we need to roll forward. We have to roll forward to get this balance, right? So then whatever here we have 100 items. In here we sold 20 items, purchased another 10 items, then sold 20 items minus purchased 10 items. Then the inventory amount as at the reporting date may be 90. So need to calculate this balance. It's a kind of a roll forward working. It's not a reconciliation, but it's type of a calculation. So then if you are planning to do the stock verification after the year end, so then after the year end mean here we have 200 stock. In between this period they sold 100 item. That item should be added plus 200. If they have purchased 50, so then 250 is the year end inventory count. So then likewise you can do roll back procedures and roll forward procedures. So as auditor, whatever the transaction in between this period should verify based on a sample basis. So that is called roll back and roll forward procedures, right? So then that's a reconciliation and roll forward and roll back procedures. Then again you can do NRE testing. NRE testing, how we are going to do? Here we tested NRE testing related controls. What we can do is you can get the NRE testing calculation. So then mostly they do manual calculation for NRV. So then what you can do is you can cross check this NRE testing calculation with the sample testing with comparable prices, latest prices we have used. Likewise we can check the NRV calculation, right, based on the sample basis, right. So then you can do analysis as well. So what are the analysis you can do? Basically you can do quantity versus price analysis, location wise analysis, supplier wise analysis, different inventory items. එක item එකක් තියෙනවා inventory item එකක් එක supplier කෙනෙක්ගෙන් ඒ සේරම inventory විදියට තියෙනවා. So then we need to identify if there are any impairment indication, right? So likewise you can do different analysis. You can cross check the inventory amount with the revenue. You can cross check the inventory handling cost versus inventory amount. Different analysis can be done, right? Purchases versus inventory you can analyze, different analysis. And then third party locations. So to ensure the completeness, your inventory items may have in different locations. Your location maybe have some of the items and you are having different outstation warehouses. You have to calculate that as well. What outstation වල ගොඩක් inventory තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Good in transit තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. වාට මග inventory එනේම තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. මොනවද shipment එකක් එන දෙයක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ අපි අපිට bill and hold අපි purchase කරලා තියෙන්නේ තාම supplier ගේ premises එකේ තියෙන්නේ. එහෙම inventory තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ අපි මොනවද airport එකේ තියෙන inventory තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. වරායේ දැනට මොනවද container වල තමයි අපි purchase කරපුවා තියෙන්නේ තාම location එකට ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ. So then all those things should be captured to our inventory balance. If we are having third party locations, you need to ensure all the inventory items have been captured to the year end balance, right? and bill and hold inventory items. From our end, we have already bill and we are holding that inventory item. That can't be an inventory item in the company. So then those should be removed from our inventory register. And then standard costing formula, as I said previously. So then in standard costing formula, who are the people updating that, have they updated latest prices, you have to check that. Otherwise you are not getting the exact cost of the finished goods and the WIP balances. Inventory aging and non-moving items. So once you are having the system reports or manual records, you have to get the inventory aging. Inventory aging depend on the inventory purchase days and the current date you are calculating the inventory aging. එතකොට inventory aging එකක් ඔයාට හම්බුණා නම් ඔයා inventory aging එක base කරගෙන provision cal කරන්න කලින් inventory aging එකේ accuracy එක ensure කරන්න ඕන. Inventory aging එකේ accuracy එක ensure කරන්න, as I said previously, inventory system එකේ අපි control එක check කරලා තියෙන්න ඕන. System date එක edit කරන්න බෑ. ඔයාට system date එක system එකෙන් generate කරපු Excel file එක edit කරලා දෙනවද කියන එක check කරගන්න. ඔයා මොකද කරන්නේ? inventory aging එකෙන් sample එකක් අරගෙන අපේ material good receive note එකත් එක්ක check කරලා purchase date එක good receive වුණු date එකත් එක්ක aging එකේ date එක check කරගන්න. check කරලා අපි ensure කරනවා aging එක correct කියලා. Based on that aging, you can identify non-moving items. Accordingly, you can do the provision. You can do the provision, right? And then again, as we discussed, according to LKS2, what are the required disclosure? The costing method, and then is there any provision, any pledge items, or if you have done NRV, or have you done NRE kind of a adjustment, so then all those things should be disclosed. And plus, you should have a insurance coverage for inventory, right? So then according to the maximum order level, not a maximum inventory level, you should have a insurance coverage for the company. So that ensure the existence of the inventory balance. So then as auditor, you can do this type of controls testing, as well as you can do this type of substantive procedures. So then this test TOC and substantive procedures can be customized to according to the inventory nature, according to the industry nature, right? So then that's how you have to ensure a inventory balance as a auditor, right? So then other than this substantive procedures, according to your business, according to your audit, you can decide other substantive procedures as well. Let's say you are dealing with a different company, like hotel company. hotel එක අපිට තියෙනවා liquor stock එක ගන්න. liquor stock එක consume කරපු bottle තියෙනවා. consume කරපු bottle month end එකේ, year end එකේ remaining part එක. එතකොට bottle ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන ටික අපිට material balance එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ගොඩාක් bottle වල ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ ටික අපි value කරන්නේ කොහොමද? So we have to use different approach. hotel එකක mini bar එක තියෙනවා. mini bar එකේ guestලා use කරලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒ දවස් වෙනකොට. එතකොට mini bar count එක ගන්නෙ කොහොමද? So we are having different approaches, different inventory items, right? සමහර දැන් hotel එකක perishable item එළවලු තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. expire වෙච්ච ඒවා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. So then we need to focus that as well. Right. So then that's about TOC and substantive procedures. Under substantive procedures, physical observation of inventory is a co-audit procedure, key audit procedure, primary substantive procedure relating to inventory. So that ensure the existence of inventory balance. So then we are planning to give some explanation about inventory verification. Once you are planning inventory verification, you have to plan that according to the nature of the business. So then we have to planning inventory count, and then review inventory count instructions, and attendance to inventory count, and then following up the inventory count, whatever the protocols, right? So whether you are planning inventory count virtually or physically, you need to adhere with the inventory count plan. What island wide branches වල නම් තියෙන inventory count එක, ඒක ඔයා plan කරලා inventory count එකට participate වෙන්න ඕන. එතකොට අපේ inventory count එක virtually නම් කරන්නේ. දැන් අපි covid pandemic එක තිබුණා. covid pandemic එක කාලේ අපිට inventory count වල physically participate වෙන්න බෑ. එතකොට අපි virtually තමයි video conference විදියට තමයි inventory count එක කරේ. එතකොට inventory හරියට අපිට location වලට අපිට මොනවාද කැමරා ෆික්ස් කරලා තියෙනවා. නැත්නම් එක part එකක් පෙන්නලා ඒ inventory ටික තව තැනක ගිහින් පෙන්නලා අපිට පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන් inventory තියෙනවා කියලා. Right? So then that can't be happen. So then we should ensure that all the inventory item should be covered through the inventory count. Right? As auditor, you don't want to count actually. You are going to check a sample of inventory item with the management. Right? So this type of risk may be there once you are planning your inventory count. Some of the inventory counts you may require type of expert, right? Type of expert. So then ඔයා මොන හරි chemical නම් මේ vouch කරන්න යන්නේ check කරන්න යන්නේ. ඔයා දන්නේ chemical එකේ මොනවද වර්ගය මොනවද කියලා type එක මොනවද කියලා. ඔයාට let's say you are going for do kind of a inventory verification in a sanitizer manufacturing company, right? Sanitizer manufacture කරනකොට ගොඩක් අපිට fragrance ඕන වෙන්න පුළුවන්. methanol ඕන වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ මොනවාද ඕන වෙන ingredients ඔයා හරියටම දන්නේ නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයාට වතුර පෙන්නලා කියන්න පුළුවන් මෙන්න මේ item එක කියලා. එතකොට ඔයා දැනගන්න ඕනේ මේ item එක මොකක්ද කියලා. So then you may need a kind of a expert support on that. ඔයා inventory verification එකක් plan කරනවා නම් ඒකේ steps ටික තමයි අපි මෙතන කතා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ. මොකද inventory verification කියන්නේ inventory ensure කරන්න තියෙන core important procedures එක. ඒකේ inventory verification එකෙන් අපි existence තමයි අපි cover කරන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ quantity එක ensure කරගන්නේ අපි quantity එක ensure කරගන්නේ physical verification එකෙන්. එතකොට quantity එක valuation එකෙත් part එකක්. අපිට indirectly valuation කියන assessment එකටත් physical inventory verification එක අපි use කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? එතකොට අපි physical inventory verification එකක් කරන්න plan කරනකොට අපි දැනගන්න ඕන inventory count එක කොහොමද වෙන්නේ, management එකේ plan එක මොකක්ද, inventory මොනවද instruction තියෙන්නේ, අපි inventory අපි check කරන්න යනකොට safety මොන හරි protocols තියෙනවද, අපි දැන් හිතන්නකෝ මොන හරි inventory item එකක් ඒක තියෙන්න ඕන low temperature එකේ. එතකොට අපි deep freezer ඇතුලේ තමයි inventory item එක බලන්න යන්න වෙන්නේ. අපි හිතමු ice cream වෙන්න පුළුවන්, meat වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So then you are in a different environment. So then you have to have different equipment, right? එතකොට ඒකේ ගොඩක් වෙලා ඉන්න බැරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So then you have to adhere with these instructions, right? And other thing is some of the instance you may need expert support. අපි හිතන්නවා petroleum corporation එකේ inventory count එක කරන්න යන්නේ. එතකොට petroleum corporation එකේ ලොකු tank තියෙන්නේ. tank එක බලලා වාට inventory මෙච්චරක් තියෙනවද කියලා කියන්න බෑ. ඒකේ මොනවද තියෙන්නේ, කොච්චර amount එකක් තියෙනවද කියන්න expert කෙනෙක්ගේ support එක ඕන වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයා මොන හරි manufacturing company එකේ chemical බලන්න නම් යන්නේ. ඔයාට chemical A කියන chemical එක පෙන්නලා මේක B කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන් management එක. එතකොට ඔයා හරියටම A කියලා දැනගන්න ඔයාට expert knowledge එකක් අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. එතකොට ඔයාගේ ඔයා දැනගන්න ඕනේ inventory related internal control mechanism එක මොකක්ද කියන එක. ඊට පස්සේ adequate procedures establish කරලාද තියෙන්නේ ඔයාගේ inventory count එකට. ඊට පස්සේ inventory count එක කරන timing එක කොහොමද, right? ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාගේ inventory system එකක් manage වෙනවද, ongoing system එකකින්ද inventory capture කරන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මොනවද location wise inventory කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ, expert කෙනෙක් අවශ්‍ය වෙනවද. All those things should be addressed in a inventory verification plan, right? So then after considering all those aspects, you can plan a proper inventory verification. So then if you have a question related to inventory verification, the examiner can ask, So what are the key concern areas once you are planning inventory verification? So then these are the key areas. ඔයා මොකද්ද මේකෙදි කරන්න ඕන? inventory count එක කරද්දී ඔයා දැන් system එකෙන් අපි inventory record එක ගන්න ඕනේ. inventory report එක ගන්න ඕනේ. inventory report එක අරගෙන system එකේ තියෙන එක physically තියෙනවද කියලා check කරගන්න ඕනේ. අපි sample එකක් අපි කියනවා sheet to flow to sheet check කරගන්න ඕන කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? ඔයා එතකොට flow එකේ තියෙන ඒවා sheet එකේ බලන්න ඕනේ. sheet එකේ තියෙන ඒවා flow එකේ බලන්න ඕනේ. sheet එකේ තියෙන ඒවා flow එකේ නැත්තම් ඒවා damage වෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්තම් employees ලා ගෙදර ගෙනියලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඔයා ඒක issue එකක් විදියට identify කරගන්න ඕනේ. system එකේ තියෙනවා flow එකේ නැහැ. නැත්තම් සමහර වෙලාවට customer-ට අපි sell කරන්නේ 10යි free issue කරලා. අපේ රිලේෂන් කෙනෙක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ 10යි issue කරන්න ඕන 15ක් දීලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ වගේ frauds අපිට capture කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට පස්සේ අපි බලනවා flow to sheet. flow එකේ තියෙනවා sheet එකේ නැහැ. That's also a issue. So then how it's appearing as a physical inventory but it's not in the system? Have we purchased some inventory without entering into the system? It's a serious issue. ඒක අපි හොඳට ස්ටඩි කරලා බලන්න. සමහර item වෙන්න පුළුවන් bill and hold item වෙන්න පුළුවන්. As we discussed previously. bill and hold අපි bill කරලා තියෙන්නේ customer අරගෙන ගිහින් නැහැ. ඒක අපේ system report එකෙන් අයින් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි ඒක item එකක් විදියට තියෙනවා. bill and hold inventory may be the reason but we need to verify, we need to ask, we need to inquire from the management. So then those are the things we need to focus once you are planning your inventory observation. So then why you are doing inventory observation? To ensure the existence of inventory balance, right? So then we are having kind of a link between valuation as well, right? Right. So then once you are discussing inventory, the other procedure is inventory cutoff. Why we are doing inventory cutoff? Why we are doing inventory cutoff? You may have material and then WIP and then finished goods. Why we are doing inventory cutoff? To ensure the completeness of inventory balance, we have to perform inventory cutoff, because whatever the inventory relevant for that period should be recorded as a inventory. The sold item can't be recognized as inventory. Whatever the items we are in the process of we have already paid advance, those things can't be considered as a inventory, right? So then exact inventory item should be identified. For that we need to perform cutoff testing for inventory. How we are doing cutoff testing for inventory? For this, each and every item you have to perform cutoff testing, not only for the finished goods, you have to perform that for the WIP, for material as well. So then we have to recognize exact WIP. So then if you are not performing this cutoff testing for WIP, management can put all the WIP to the finished goods, right? So then that can be happen. So then as auditor, this classification also you need to ensure. According to this classification, the costing amount may be changed. The standard costing using for WIP may be differs with the finished good. අපි WIP value කරන විදියට නෙමෙයි standard costing ඊට වඩා වැඩි finished goods එකේ. එතකොට වා සේරම finished good WIP ටික finished goods විදියට දැක්කනම් අපේ inventory එක overstated වෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So then we have to ensure that each and every point. එතකොට අපි මොකද කරන්න ඕන? අපි each and every point එකේ process එකේදී understand කරා අපිට තියෙනවා document එකක්. නේද? good receive note එක. අපි material requisition note, good receive note, WIP transferring note. අපි document set එක අරගෙන month end එකේ හරි year end එකේ හරි අන්තිමටම තියෙන transfers ටික අන්තිමටම හම්බ වෙච්ච material item ටික check කරනවා අපේ inventory එකේ record වෙලාද මේ අවුරුද්දේ 31st December last good receive notes ටික ගන්නවා GRN ටික ගන්නවා අරගෙන අන්තිමට ආපු GRN ටිකේ සේරම material වලට ගිහින්ද අපි ජැනුවරි වල ෆස්ට් GRN ටික ගන්නවා. ඒ ටික මෙතනට ඇවිල්ලාද වැරදිලාවත්. ඒ ටික රෙකෝඩ් වෙන්න ඕන ජැන් වලට. So that should be tested. 31st December material ඉඳලා WIP වලට transfer වෙච්චා. හරියට මෙතනින් transfer වෙලාද WIP වලට. WIP ඉඳලා finished goods වලට හරියට transfer වෙලාද. January transfer වුණේවා finished goods වලට ඇවිල්ලාද. You need to ensure. So then you need to verify first item in the January month and last item in the December month. In between these 3 inventory items. Then only you can ensure the exact material amount, exact WIP amount, exact finished goods amount, right? So then that should be performed, right? So then point in the accounting cycle as follows. So these are the areas you need to consider once you are doing your cut-off testing. The point of purchase and receipt goods, right? The requisition for raw materials, right? And transfer of completed work in progress to finished good. That's why I informed, that's why I discussed transfer finished good to WIP to finished good, and then sales and dispatch finished goods. So then whatever the sold items should be removed from the finished good, and finished good should be ensured to two sides, from WIP side as well as the finished goods. Whatever the last selling items at the December month, December 31st, at the final hour, what are the sold items should be removed from the finished goods, right? So then that should be ensured. So then those are the things you need to consider once you are verifying your inventory balance. In some of the companies they don't have WIP. WIP නැති වෙන්නේ. Some of the manufacturing companies, their manufacturing process of a one item may be very short period. It may be 2 hours. ඔයා හදන්නේ sausage එකක් නම්, ඔයා හදන්නේ yogurt එකක් නම්, ඔයාගේ WIP නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. දවස් ඇතුලේ හදලා ඉවරයි. එතකොට ඔයා stock count එක ගන්නකොට you don't have WIP. You are only having material and the finished good. So it will make life easy. So then you can easily verify, right? So then those are the things you should know about this inventory verification. Now you are ensuring what? Existence ensured through inventory verification and completeness ensured through the cut-off testing. I hope that you are very clear about this. And then we are moving to inventory valuation, NRV testing. NRV testing කරද්දී ඔයාට cost එක තියෙනවා inventory එකේ. inventory එකේ cost එක තියෙනවා, NRV තියෙනවා. මෙතන quantity එක තියෙනවා. එතකොට cost item ඔයාට check කරගන්න පුළුවන් purchase price invoice එකත් එක්ක. NRV කොහොමද check කරගන්නේ? NRV is maybe a manual calculation, right? Manually you have to identify. එතකොට NRV calculation management එකේ sample එකක් අරගෙන ඔයාට cross check කරගන්න පුළුවන් market prices එක්ක. market එකේ prices එක්ක, latest selling prices එක්ක. If there is any damage for this item, what we have to do? So then how much we are going to reduce from the selling price? So then those are the things we need to consider. සමහර items වල මොන හරි error එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? errors in production or purchasing. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා garment එකක් manufacture කරනවා export කරන්න මේ target කරලා finish කරලා ready කරලා සේරම ඉවරුනාම එයා reject කරනවා. ඔයාට ඒ color එක match වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. color එක match වෙන්නේ නැහැ කිව්වොත් ඔයාට ආයෙත් ඒක correct කරන්න බෑ error එක. හදිසියවත් button එකක් color එක වෙනස් වෙන්න කිව්වොත් button එක replace කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි total color එකම මේ වුණොත් අපිට production ඒ set එකම reject වෙනවා. එතකොට අපිට plan කරපු realizable value එකේ නැහැ. So then අපි plan කරනවා ඒක locally විකුණන්න. එතකොට ඒ price එක cost එකට වඩා අඩු වෙන්න පුළුවන් සමහර විට. So then we have to get that NRV to the books, right? So then NRV කොහොමද cost එකට වඩා අඩු වෙන්න reason මොනවද? Right? So then physically damage වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Obsolescence of products තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Obsolete inventory balances තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? සමහර instance වල marketing department එක pricing strategy එකක් විදියට cost එකට වඩා ගොඩක් අඩුවෙන් විකුණන්න plan කරනවා next 2 months. එතකොට ඔයා මොකද කරන්න ඕන? cost එක අපිට 100ක් ගිහින් තියෙනවා. marketing department එක විකුණන්න හදනවා 80ට. So then you have to adjust that to the inventory balance. So likewise you have to do independent verification for NRV calculation. What you can do is you can select a sample of NRV inventory items. You can cross check with the latest prices. Whatever the price used by the management, you can independently verify and confirm the value, right? So then after doing this activity, you are ensuring the value, right? Now you are comfortable with the value and quantity was comfortable from the observation, right? So then api inventory valuation එකෙන් cover කරගත්තා inventory value එක හරි කියන assessment එක valuation assessment එක physical observation එකෙන් cover කරගත්තා quantity existence කියන assessment එක අපි cut off testing එකෙන් cover කරගත්තා completeness assessment එක. So then whatever the critical assessment we discuss, completeness, then valuation and existence we have to ensure, we already ensured, right? And then presentation and disclosure can be tested with the LKS 2 requirement. As we discussed, whatever the required disclosure should be disclosed in the financial statement. And then here raw material valuation and then work in progress valuation. Make a product challenging. Then raw material, so then we don't have that exact market price sometimes, right? Work in progress අපිට production process එකේ මැද තියෙන item එකක් අපිට NRV test කරන්න කොහොමද? එතකොට අපි මොකද කරන්න ඕන? අපිට NRV ගන්න බැරි නම් මේවයි අපි management එක assumption එකකට එනවා cost equal NRV කියලා අපිට assume කරලා justify කරනවා මේ දැනට අපි incur කියලා තියෙන cost එක අපිට NRV විදියට ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා අනිවාර්යෙන් minimum විදියට. එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ සමහර වෙලාවට non moving items තියෙනවා නම් work in progress තියෙන item එකක් last 2 years තියෙනවා. එතකොට අපිට කියන්න බෑ cost equal to NRV. So then there may be a reason to keeping this inventory item for last 2 years, right? So then අපි එතකොට work in progress අපිට මෙහෙම කරන්න පුළුවන්. work in progress item එක ඉස්සරහට තව cost එකක් incur කරන්න කීයක් incur කරන්න ඕනද finish good එකක් වෙන්න ඒ cost එක මෙතනින් deduct කරලා finish good එකක් විදිහට sell කරන්න කීයක් වෙනවද කීයකට විකුණන්න පුළුවන් එතකොට අපි NRV කියලා ගත්තේ selling price deducted by ඒ selling condition එකකට change කරන්න යන cost එකයි ඒ sell කරන්න යන cost එකයි අඩු කරාට පස්සේ value එක ඒක NRV කියලා අරගෙන අපිට WIP එක cross check කරන්න පුළුවන්. So then you are having kind of a list or inventory record. What you can do is you can take a sample of inventory items, material item and WIP item. You can ensure the whatever the NRV item used by the management, you have to ensure that the correct amount has been used for your financial reporting aspect. So basically here we wanted to discuss about audit procedures, substantive procedures relating to inventory, right? We had a detailed discussion as well as we had a summary discussion. So altogether under part 3 we covered non-current asset and then intangible assets and the investment as well as inventory. So then as auditor now we are comfortable with these balance sheet items including current and non-current assets. So then we can look forward in part number 4 we are planning to discuss cash and cash equivalent, related party and other balances in the statement of financial position. So then we hope that you are very comfortable with whatever the things we discuss. My advice is, once you are applying these things, you have to be customize these aspects to the particular nature of the industry and the nature of the business. So then with these things, we are going to wind up today's session. We are looking forward to meet up with the section 4. That's a final section relating to gathering audit evidence. So thank you very much.